You're listening to the Normal Isn't Necessary podcast, brought to you in part by the Gumball Head Sobriety Society and generous listeners just like you. For the latest updates, check out the link in our bio. Good morning, lab rats and manimals. I'm your host, Gumball Head, with the Friday edition of the Road Rants on the Normal Isn't Necessary podcast. It's Friday, January 16th, 2026. We're on our way to work. It's cold out. It's a cold morning. Currently 20 degrees. It's snowing and blowing. It's Midwestern weather. We know how it goes. You know how it goes. If you're not from the Midwest, well, let's explain Midwest weather to you. Yesterday it was 61. This morning it's 20. This afternoon it's supposed to be 45. There's Midwest weather in a nutshell. So I hope everybody's doing well. It's been a long week. We've had a lot of exciting things happening in our day-to-day lives here in the Gumball Head family, as well as at the job. Still loving the job, falling into frustrations and working through them. Still maintaining that extremely super popular positive vibe and not letting it beat me down. I love the fact that everybody is so patient and they're working with me and working through things with me, and it's one of those things. I feel very well received. I'm grateful for what I have. I feel as if I'm respected and understood and appreciated at my job, even though sometimes it's a little tough. So frustrating, I'm sure, for my coworkers because the questions are abundant, but they're tapering. Which is a good sign of wisdom for me on my behalf. So, trying to knock things out and get things to where they need to be as we go forward. So, it's Friday. We have side work coming up this weekend, so you'll get a side work Saturday out of me. And our podcast, the live drive at 5, has been tapering this week. Because of weather conditions and driving. It's not because we're going to stop doing it or anything like that. It's just it's been Midwest weather, traffic jams and interesting weather patterns, and sometimes you just get out of work and you got to leave everything off. You got to tune out of technology, especially when you stare at a computer screen all day. And that's kind of the angle that we're going to take today for our podcast. Last night I had gotten home from work, and usually when I get home, I sit down and I doom scroll for a little while, and then, we eat dinner, and then I go back to doom scrolling, and then, it's bedtime. And our kids, they do the same thing. Well, here's some good news. We ended up acquiring a iPad for #RennieTalk, who is going to end up utilizing that iPad for his artwork. He is working on his own YouTube channel, and we're looking forward to getting him going on his own stuff. And we'll be expressing all that here in the near future, and being able to put him on his own YouTube channel. His dream of being a streamer is coming alive. We're going to make that happen for him, and that's what we try to do. Is we try to help people when they want something, help them achieve it. We do that via our interviews. We do that via our connections. We do that via our resources. And recently I've been looking at some of the AI integrations when it comes to the Normal Isn't Necessary podcast. And I just saw one the other day. What makes the Normal Isn't Necessary podcast popular? And we're approaching 9,000 downloads. So it's not hugely popular, but we're not terribly unpopular either. So the feedback that we received on that was simply because we promote it, because we push it, we download, we put the downloads out there, we put the opportunity out there, we interact with our listeners, we interact with our guests, and we follow up with our guests and stuff like that. So we're pushing for 20,000 downloads by the end of 2026. We didn't quite hit our $10,000 download goal for 2025. So we got some ground to make up. Like I said, we're at 8,000 downloads now, 12,000 to go. We'll be able to hit it. 10,000 downloads almost in 2025. We're looking to increase those downloads for this year. So if you're listening to the podcast now, or if you've listened to it in the past, well, I guess you would have to hear this information now. But if you are a follower of our show, please share it out with people. Tons of great information, great guests, good times on here. Just rants, just information, just good times, and we want people to feel connected to the real world and not put off by all the intervention that society tells us that we should be concerned about. What I mean by that is the bad news, and we don't talk about ICE, we don't talk about politics, we don't talk about religion, and if we do, it's because it ties to our topic loosely. For those that are listening, I'm Christian, I'm Buddhist, I believe in the principles of both the Bible as well as the teachings of the Buddha. I think that they are very well aligned. Do I think that I am a Buddhist Christian? Yes. Do I think that I'm a Christian Buddhist? Yes. I try to live life the best way I possibly can at this point. And I know my days are numbered. I'm humble. There's a lot of humility in my life. That's why I try to remain positive in all the things that happen to me. And, everything happens for a reason, right? Not everybody agrees with that, and that's okay too. You can agree to disagree or disagree to agree, either or. I'm cool with that. I don't have any judgment on anybody that listens to my show. If you send me messages and say, I hate your podcast, that's cool. You don't have to listen to it. And if you send us an email and it says, hey, I really like your podcast, I wish you would do this, we'll do that. This show is about our listeners. It's not about me coming up with content all the time. Sometimes when we do topics, it's because they were suggested to us. And, if you want credit for a topic, let us know when you send us a message. Say, hey, you know what? I'd like to be mentioned regarding this topic. I'd like to be brought into the fold. I'd like it if you emailed me when you do a podcast on this. We can easily do that. It's just a matter of us clicking a link, a follow-up link, hitting reply on an email, and saying, hey, we just produced this podcast for you, and we'd love to hear from you. So if you are a listener, please let us know if there's anything that you would like to listen to. So I'm gonna touch back on the technology stuff here real quick. So years ago, I had a best friend, and this best friend took really good care of me, but it turns out that there was a lot of things that just weren't great. I was not in a great mind space. My friend wanted to see nothing but the best in me, and eventually that friendship was terminated at the hands of her and her thoughts and her beliefs and her feelings, and she just didn't want to continue on with the friendship anymore. I respect that 100%. I really do. I look at it, looking back now, was there toxicity? Yes, it went both ways. There were a lot of toxic influences that imparted in my life on her behalf, and I was not the best friend that I could have been at the time. So there was a lot of reverse toxicity there too. And a couple of days ago, I dropped a podcast where I talked about, communication is important. And taking care of those that take care of you is important. Hindsight is 20/20. Looking back on those things, did I make mistakes? Sure. Don't we all? Absolutely. But all of a sudden, recently, this friend's been peeking in and checking up on us. Now, I don't know if she's listening to the podcast at all. I do know that she has been on the Facebook. I also know that she has been checking out Normal Isn't Necessary podcast on TikTok, as well as the Normal Isn't Necessary host TikTok page, because I can see that. I can see your profile pop up whenever you take a look at my profile. I appreciate the interest. I appreciate the follow-up. Feel free to say hello, apology, or whatever. or just stay in the shadows. But for someone who was adamant about how shitty of a friend I was, it's kind of funny to see how you're curious again. So enjoy all that you can enjoy. Doors open. Friendship, always be there. I'm not begging, though. I refuse to beg for friendship anymore. Connection is imperative, but I don't have to have friends. I don't need friends. I traded friends and experiences and outside connections for having a family. It was a choice that I made, and I enjoy my family. I enjoy spending time with my wife and children. I enjoy going to work, doing my job, and then coming home. And I love the connections, but they're absolutely not what they used to be. And as I get older, friends are still important. But if I only have 6 people carrying my coffin when I die, well, I got enough kids to cover that, so I'm not too awful concerned. But it's funny. I was thinking this morning about the impact of my departure from the state of Michigan and leaving the state of Michigan, and being a grandfather is tough, especially when I live 5 hours away from my grandson. I got to spend a weekend with him and my oldest son and his girlfriend, and it was beautiful. I got to spend a couple of days getting to know my grandson Eli and spending some time with Mr. Muti and his lovely girlfriend. And I've looked back and been just kind of looking back lately and reconnecting with my oldest daughter. She's difficult to get a hold of, but she's got a busy life too. I reached out the other day and just said, "Hey, you doing okay?" And she's like, "Yeah, are you?" I was like, "Yeah, love the new job. Things are going well." And I was pretty quiet for a couple of days. And I reached back out and said, "Hey, I love you. I miss you." And there was reciprocity. Love and miss you too. Sometimes that's all parents need. Sometimes that's all we need to hear as a dad. That's all we need to hear as a mom. Is that understanding and feeling that, hey, I'm still here. Hey, I still think about you. And that's all that we need. Same thing with friends. Sometimes all you got to do is reach out to your friends and say, hey. I reached out to an old bandmate the other day and left him a voicemail and said, hey, I've been trying to get a hold of you. Just wanted to catch up, see how things were going. And then he called me back, left me a voicemail because he missed mine, and said, hey, I don't get up and around as much as I used to. And then it dawned on me. It just all of a sudden dawned on me. If we look back and we think about where we are now to where we were when these connections were made. Now, this friend of mine, we connected 15 years ago and many, many years prior to that, okay? And then reconnected. I had a 10-year run of friendship and then nothing, and that just seems to be the cycle of my life is things go, then they don't go, then they go, then they don't go, then they go, then they don't go. It's just kind of like the circle, right? This friend of mine from the band that I just reached out to, it didn't dawn on me until I had left him the last voicemail when he said, I don't get up and around as much as I used to. He's in his 50s now. He's over 50 years old. My sister herself, she's in her 50s now. I'm in my late 40s. And I totally have forgotten the fact that I'm not 27 anymore. It dawned on me the other day when I bought my house years and years ago, 18, 19 years ago. When I bought my house, I was in my mid-20s. I bought my house for my children and I when my oldest son was 5 years old. It was over 20 years ago. I'm 47 now. I was in my mid-20s when I bought my home. It's hard to believe that those things happened so many years ago, and how many years and how many experiences have happened since then. Reflection on those memories. I'm glad that I still have my mind. I don't have my hearing. I don't have my attitude. But I still have that young punk feel to my life. And I still want to be able to enjoy the finer things in life as if I were still in my 20s and 30s. I don't enjoy them as much as I used to. I used to love going out and doing things. I used to love going on road trips and going hiking and doing stuff like that. But I don't like that stuff anymore. I just don't. Because I spend so much time in an office. When I'm home, I want to spend time enjoying my home. I want to spend time enjoying my family instead of worrying about things that are going to go away eventually, you know. I think that's a big fear. So technology keeps us connected to the world around us, keeps us connected to the hearts of those that listen and follow and appreciate us. And they also create a wedge, and we have to be mindful of that. Let's continue our mindfulness today, throughout the day, and give ourselves something to think about. We're not as young as we once were. We're not always going to have the things that we're used to having. But as long as we stay consistent and focus on the positive things that happen in our life, everything's going to work out okay. Until our paths cross, stay strong, stay focused, stay sober. Much love. We'll see you guys soon.